My name is Sheila Hebenstreit, and I am an agronomist at Landis Cooperative, and I cover Gowrie area, the Jefferson area, and the Beaver-Ogden area. I work with many farmers, many sizes, from my smallest farmer is about 36 acres, and my largest farmer is right at 10,000 acres, multi-crop. Some of them, for instance, this farm we're on right now is diversified with livestock and crops, row crops, seed corn. So it makes it very interesting as far as trying to work with the programs when you're having to think multi-years in advance and multi-years in the past, and how to manage that diversification and make sure you're in the right rotation all the time, in the right fertility programs, the right herbicide programs, carryover programs, because it's seed corn, beans, corn on soybeans, and manure management plans. Most of the farmers I work with are corn and soybeans, some of them also seed corn in addition to that. I will tell you, in 1984, I was it. And that was a concern when I was hired. How are you going to handle being the only woman in a meeting full of 200 men, or how are you going to handle being a man's world? And and I've answered to all of my bosses at one time or another. I don't really see a distinction. It's whether or not you can do the job and perform for your clients and do what they need. It doesn't have anything to do, it's not a male-female role in my mind, and never has been. I went into production agriculture because that's what's here. I started out right after college working in a greenhouse and flower shop, and decided that also wasn't really where I needed to be. So I had an opportunity to start working at the co-op, and fell in love with it. I loved production agriculture, and loved the whole start to finish. I figure I take it right to the truck and then it's theirs. And from the time the planting in the fall to the time it comes out the following fall, I'm in that whole circle of life for that plant, and that is what I really felt that I needed to be, and it worked out perfectly for me. I couldn't ask for a better life, working here in Iowa in ag, in the most productive ground right here in central Iowa. I love it.
I'm Linda Nave. I'm an extension program specialist in the Iowa State University Extension Value-Added Agriculture program, and one of my primary responsibilities is coordinating the state's SARE program, Sustainable Agriculture Research and Education program. I nominated Sheila because she was probably the most qualified person for women impacting agriculture that I could think of. And I've met a lot of women in agriculture, but Sheila really came to the top of the list immediately because she's worked with hundreds of farmers who trust her, and really is the risk management specialist for them, to help them become profitable and maintain profitability, but yet at the same time conserving soil and water practices. And so with that combined, she really is the full circle when it comes to impacting individuals. By working with a number of different farmers, large scale, small scale, she has a real feel for what their needs are, what their challenges are, and yet puts it in perspective so that they're doing as much conservation practices as possible.
Some of my proudest moments have been with Linda Nave, who nominated me, and our work in Uganda with the women's groups over there. So that's been a highlight of my life. It was a long-term goal of mine to really return the blessings that I've had throughout by living in central Iowa, and there's many. And I think we can all name those, and just standing out here in this beautiful sunshine is one of those, and clear skies and clean air, all those kinds of things that we can have right here. I wanted to remind myself, my mother asked me, why do you need to remind yourself? Because I said, I am so blessed. And so when the opportunity came to go to Uganda with the Farmer to Farmer Tour project, I was all in. The Uganda project had to do with determining basically the needs of what the women needed in order to increase their marketing ability, their personal and family health, and their personal and family financial status. When we were in Uganda, we did find that the farms, and they call them farms, and that we would call them more like a garden or a large garden. Those were primarily women that did maybe even owned the farm, but always did the work. They were the ones that handled all the tillage, all the weeding, all the picking, all the harvesting, all the cooking of the food. That's a totally women's world there when it comes to agriculture. So when we went as the farmer to farmer group, as a group of women, that was how they saw us, as that they farm as women, and we were aiding in that process. So I think women owe it to other women to be mentors. And I've said in the past, is to understand that there is no real difference between the genders when it comes to working in production agriculture. You may not be able to lift something, but you have other great qualities that maybe somebody else doesn't have. So just because you have a certain quality or a certain physical strength doesn't mean that you're not going to be very useful, very ingrained, very helpful, very successful in production agriculture. In the state of Iowa, there's thousands of ways to be involved if you don't want to be in the field. I think it's one of the biggest opportunities out there because it has been somewhat male dominated. I think it has actually restricted the business, and as you get women moving into it, the different perspectives that women can add, and let's be real, men and women are not the same, and they think differently. And so I think the combination adds great potential to the business as a whole. And I think families are seeing that, and large corporation farmers are seeing that, and small farmers are seeing that. I have one farmer who says, I could not farm without my ladies. And that means the grain marketer is a woman, me, their banker is a woman. They feel that women play an essential role, not just a role, but an essential role in their farming operation, because there are so many people involved in multi-level parts of ag. If I wasn't in production agriculture, I think I would like to be working in conservation, water quality, those kinds of opportunities, and things that are affecting agriculture and urban areas both. And so I kind of have a second love there, looking at those kinds of things. And so I don't think I can ever be outside of ag. I don't think it works.